People, how are you doing this day after Thanksgiving in the USA? Specifically is the 29th, Friday, November 2019. And here I am at chadwarren.me. Newest article is Trump versus the fall of the Berlin Wall. Most everybody supported the fall of the Berlin Wall in '89, but in 2019, Trump says he is against globalism while he makes Israel great again. Discuss. And the first thing that got me to wanting to talk today is directed to creative folk and those who ally with the truth seeker community, the people that use the internet to research occult, conspiracy, political, world history, whatever you want to call it. I have a newsletter from Permies, which is a permaculture group, and I hardly ever check these out. You know, we're all just overwhelmed with information. But as I attempt to learn how to be more seriously in terms of newsletters, right? I'd like to learn how to craft a newsletter. And another thing I like about newsletters is it leads me to a topic I have a focus and an interest in, which is transitioning away from the digital ghettos of social media because they are censored. And not only that, but in terms of how do we have a viable community locally and online. And I think that we are in a digital rights revolution time period because, and this is what's a problem with the truth community, is it becomes truth-ertainment. And I'm really actually very happy that YouTube is got my stepmom. I visited for Thanksgiving and she brought it up. I didn't get to talking about it. But she quickly mentioned in a conversation that her favorite channel, which is a woman that teaches about quilting, is concerned about the changes of the terms of service in regards to eliminating channels that are not profitable. And, you know, my gut tells me that there's like a little bit of overhype, but whether it is in psychology or studying politics or marketing, perception is king, right? Obviously, everybody, the more, whether you're like very paranoid or whether you're very, believing in the establishment, people are pretty fearful and intimidated by this threat of a 40 something thousand-dollar fine by the Federal Trade Commission if your videos are deemed to somehow be, which of course is just a scam. They've got ISIS training videos, they've got all sorts of terrible material up there, and it's just the same way that Sacha Baron Cohen, who plays Borat and does jokes about Jew bashing, then wants to, at the behest of the Anti-Defamation League, lecture us about how they're gonna, they're Jews and we're all stupid, and they're gonna tell us that what is or isn't, allowable, while they go on to do the way worse than we ever do about it. And it's not a knock on Jewish people, but I mean, my God, that form of it, the kind that runs Hollywood and runs the media and Trump and all that, God damn that shit. All right, so this is also happens to be an advertisement for this, which is good. Richsoil.com cards, something. Permaculture playing cards. So, One of the questions we're asked repeatedly is, how do you tell people what permaculture is? If you give them a book, they might look at a few pictures. If you send them a link to something, they tend to save it for later. The idea of the deck of cards is that they might browse it like a book, but this is all pictures and just a few words. Much easier to browse and hopefully convey a bigger picture in a smaller package. When you are bonkers about permaculture, your friends and family tend to think you're crazy. If only there were a way to help them understand your passion better while at the same time resolving your winter gift giving obligations. What do you know? I created just a thing. Ho ho! But first, let me tell you a little story. Okay, so that's a nice article. But, I've been having a similar idea regarding the, like, I'm trying to, address the problems with the truth seeking culture because they just are caught in analysis paralysis. You know, here's what's wrong, and oh, we're all screwed, and the chemicals and the government. And, oh! Is any of that helping you today? No. Stick your in cagers because you know that's unhealthy. My behavior of it's called internet addiction. Yeah, we're addicted to just information now. Yeah, yeah, and how it works is they get us on the social media, right? To like my grandfolks, everybody is on there, and we don't even know why we're on there. Oh, that's a look at the cat and the dog are friends. The cat and the dog are friends. Oh, I hate people, but I love cats and dogs. So, while we're wasting our life force, on all these ideas that we could do, but we don't do anything, then it's a great place to shoot us like ducks in a barrel for marketing. That's what it's really for. And all of these people that are truth seekers, hey, buy my t-shirt, give me some dough. I'm going to save your life with my truth cult. Come on. I'm your friend. Give me your money. People think this is gonna work. It's funny. It's not sustainable when you got everybody asking for money. You can give each other money 'cause it comes from work. But when you're giving me stuff for free, how can it be? Whoo, we're all crazy. The blind leading the blind. That's free. That's non gratis. I've provided value to the community, the communist capitalist prison planet. Okay, but I was thinking, I used to enjoy playing Magic the Gathering and getting my butt kicked by some 7-year-old. Uh, but, and playing cards or the stuff, just like, I know all this sounds all ADD back and forth, but really it's not. I see these bigger picture things. Like, there's this cool book that was recommended to me by Christopher Matson back when I lived in Seattle in '99. It's called The Diamond Age by Neil Stevenson, I believe, who did uh, Neuromancer. I think that's right. No, that's William Gibson. Diamond Age is the book, but it's about the future, which we're experiencing now with 3D printing, and it's like that. It so interests me how we've seen 3D printing, but we don't really understand that that's a revolution. And then the next level is like having a freezer in your house type of thing, and you program in, I want whatever, and it makes it. Okay, so in that story, it's not like today where we see the technology. It's all hidden. You know what I mean? And then people start, really, you want to live like in the 1800s. We still are in kind of like an 1800s European type model of civilization. You know, because places like Africa and China and India, they're just now getting into these cities and all that stuff while we have 9 billion people. But anyway, so that's talking about the value of physical, books. Like I'm figuring out, oh, duh, like, I need to be going towards books. So I'm interested in, how do I create audiobooks? It looks like you can just read a book and then like get paid for it. That's interesting. I'm going to check that out. But playing cards, that's something young people can play playing cards, and we could learn magic tricks, and I just think that's cool. You know what I mean? I mean, it'd be pretty hard to like, hey, let's all play Magic the Gathering. You can only play that kind of stuff with some kind of nerdy people. There's a lot more of those people. But so these are cards for permaculture, and there's a video there. Look how cool that is. Okay, now imagine here. This fits with my goal. I'm trying to organize other truthers or I hate all these labels. You know what I mean? Just far out folk that fringe folk. How about that? I want to organize other fringe folk. Basically, uh, the deal is, like my friend Jordan Pope and I, and we're trying to do all this off-grid living and community building, and then I'm always like, this is embarrassing, but like, I mean, I grew up Christian, but I'm like, I don't like this. It's got this supremacist, we're God's chosen people kind of thing hidden behind it. I know there's a lot of good people, but it's got this dirtiness to it. Like, you gotta go through me. If you don't go through the church, then you're going to hell. Now nobody says that anymore, but it's all in there. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, no, I think just being a good person and being like Jesus, it's just all universal. So I'm talking to those people that want to dissolve these labels and cooperate. So we have trouble organizing. And because, like, heck, my stepmom's way the heck ahead of me. All the help that she does at the church, good Lord, that's community. You know what I mean? Like, they find people that help them around the house, and she would never, even though there's money exchanged and whatever. And then, I mean, like, bailed my dad out of jail when he got a DWI. You know what I mean? Hey, it's 2 in the morning. Can you help me? Good Lord, that's amazing. You know what I mean? And if that's from the traditional world of the Middle Ages, when there was this relationship between, I mean, it's weird. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to idolize the past, but my God, used to be we're peasants basically today. Good Lord, I'm living in a camper under a tree, in a van down by the river. And there's all the whole tons of people in America, let alone in third world countries, how we live. So it's important to appreciate what the past has that's better than buy now, the brand new hullabaloo. Uh, so okay, talking about the value of physical things like playing cards. Now, in regarding to these truther cards or fringe folk cards, I'd like to put people on these cards, Jordan Maxwell. I don't know, but it has this other purpose. I'd like to poll a community. I want to learn how to organize the community, not all, but to have us all start to learn to be like community stewards. You know what I mean? And develop a real community. Uh, so first order would be to use this card thing, and then that we could do a poll, and then everybody could decide who they thought. James True, he's hot new guy there, or we. But we could do a poll to see what people we thought were the most viable versus the controlled opposition folk. Personally, I think Trump is controlled opposition, and certainly Alex Jones, and it's so many, and then that's an uncomfortable thing, right? You're all like, oh, we're all arguing with who's legitimate. Ugh. But, what are you going to do? So that would serve that purpose to give us a project in order to organize our efforts as this fringe folk community. And then we could take the money, a portion of the proceeds, and give that money to those people. Because, God, don't you feel bad? I want to help Josh Reeves. He's always needing money. I want to be doing this stuff myself. So we got to learn how to sustain our community. Another group that's got us beat and we need to learn from are these biker gangs. You know what I mean? They're standing out there with a boot and giving money to the fire department or whatever. We got to learn all those skills that those masons and all these veterans and all these, establishment people, the Boy Scouts, they've got us beat, whooped. So we got to learn those skills without the, corruption part of it. How to do projects, where we can transparently watch how money is transmitted to ensure that it gets to where it needs to go. You see what I'm saying? Forget just like, give me all your money and I'm going to crowd fund, make this project and then you're going to buy it. I want a bigger goal I want to do is to create an alternative to Hollywood censored, politically correct content and make a whole movie that is made by the people that are going to go see it. They can all put in their money before it's made and then make a portion, like a stock. That's what stocks are. You invest in it and then you get a portion of the profit. We need to be, we are the government. We are the corporations. You know what I mean? That's what we need to do is be acting like it instead of like, oh, I'm just stupid and I just buy stuff. I can't do any of this myself or with my friends. Ugh. So, what do you think about using this playing cards project, which is a popular thing that people do, uh, to organize their community, just like the permaculture community has done here? Let me know. Oh, let's see, just some other things I'm looking at today on the tweeter. What's on the tweeter? Look at this cool wheelchair car by Kenguru. You just wheel right into it. I saw this on LinkedIn, and heck, that's all that guy's doing is every day some I don't know, videos. Just I could just take that. He just took that information from somewhere else and is attracting an audience. Well, heck, I'll do the same thing. Here's my screenshot of it. There's the video. Oh, Louder Than Love is saying that Jennifer James was assassinated for exposing vaccine fraud. She wrote a book on Amazon. This was in USA Today. Or she was a USA Today author, found shot dead. Wrote a book on Amazon about the topic called Malice. Check it. Oh, I'm real happy about this one. Thanks again to Off Planet Media, Off Planet Live, and Binge or Purge for recommending The Boys on Prime Video. I love it because it refers to our sickness for worshiping creeps as heroes. Man, better than the Watchmen movie. I remember, I'm not a super comic book nerd, but I have read that series, which I love the actual graphic novel comic, but didn't really appreciate the movie at all. This, to me, is perfect if you are a truther, right? And then, there's this whole like, I mean, I don't watch television. You know, I watch CBS Sunday Morning, and I'm not a big sports person. I can enjoy it when I watch it, but I don't really watch it. And anyway, this is a great series because it is really saying the system of government. Uh, it's a very thinly veiled attack on the way we worship authority figures, and how dirty and corrupt all that is. So, kudos. You know, I don't know. People seem weird to me that they watch a show like Stranger Things, right? And then I found that odd that I wasn't that interested in the show, despite it was totally talking about discussed back in the 70s in the mainstream than it is today. Uh, I don't understand what goes through normal people's minds. All these people watch these shows and that are talking about evil going on in the name of government, and then people just seem to not want to uh, face the fact of how corrupt our government is. And then I try to extend that a step further and say we are the government. See, it's a mental game. You know what I mean? I don't have to sign any piece of paper. It doesn't have anything to do with taxes. It has to do with, do you consider yourself that you need to tell the truth and do the right thing? Morals, values, virtues. You know what I mean? That's what being a hero is, not all this external hero worship of kissing Trump's ass. Um, are you making America great again? I don't see it. I see that one guy that cleaned up Baltimore that's a Trump supporter. Kudos to him. Cleaned up a big old section of LA. Kudos to him. That's a hero. So, that's a good relationship to foster binge or purge. So they watch TV, so you don't have to waste all that time, and they recommended that to me. And then there's all kinds of people I think that watch all these shows. I noticed when I searched The Boys that had a similar reaction, like, hey, this is a really good show. Oh, here's an article I've got there. I talked about that one. Well, enough of all that. Let's see, we're getting, I'll go to 30 minutes. Let's make a cap of that time period. Well, here on YouTube, but what am I looking at? This is so funny. You gotta watch this by the Onion.
Hey, welcome back to Today Now. Stay with us because show we're going to be visited by our diet expert, who's density. But right now, we got one of my favorite guests here in the house. We got our putting green set up. We got a golf tee box here, and my friend and golf pro Jordan Ritter joins us. How you doing, big guy?
How you doing?
All right, I'm great. Now, what do you got for us today?
Well, today we're going to learn some tips for playing against a guy when you're having an extramarital affair with his wife.
Oh, that's one of the most common problems a golfer
It's
faces.
true.
God, that is so good. You know, comedy is really powerful and dangerous because the last thing I saw by them was this woman comes on as an expert to help you deal with stress. And she's like, you need to use the power of visualization. And, okay, we're going to visualize those things that stress you out as the grabbers. And it was this thinly veiled attack on Jewish people, which I thought was just funny because it was just outlandish, you know what I mean? It's like, obviously, the funniness of propaganda, the ability to, well, that's where it's dangerous, you know what I mean? Because it is funny that you can trick stupid people by how you present information. Hey, got a smile on my face, total jackass. So that's the real joke behind that is, you know, no, they don't come out that obvious on the news, but they are all the time promoting total propaganda. Go get your free flu shot. Hey, you know. Some tribal person in Borneo is 120 fishing. But you need to get your sorry fat ass down to the Walgreens pronto and stick some virus in you. because that's progress. Uh, okay. Oh, and then Mark Dice gets on the bashing Sasha Baron Cohen on the ADL lecturing us, you know, why we can't talk about it's anti Semitic, to critique the government. And then I told Mark, I said, hey, oh, Trumpy Trump is that make it illegal to Israeli state if you have a government contract. And there was a black male dentist that was lost his contract. That's Israel is not for free speech. They do not tolerate that over there. They don't tolerate Christians or none of that. You're all stupid for supporting them. There's all kinds of Jewish people and Israeli people that are critical of their own government just like we should be of ours. Oh man, so many poor people in the USA. People living in their cars in Los Angeles and working hard, and like they're in a parking lot. It's got a gate, like some weird way to deal with this situation. Just weird. How can Trump people claim that everybody's employed? Well, who cares if everybody's employed if they're living in their damn cars? It's not just in California. They talk about Virginia too. I don't like this Southern Women channel at all. I think it's just they are real Southern women. I mean, they're this is the mid South, so it's different than Alabama and Georgia and all that here in Arkansas. But I just kind of fake. Like they seem like the people that are artificially cultivating their Southern persona. Anywho, that is that, and then let's see, was there something else on here? No, that is it. But what do you think about the permaculture playing cards? I would like to buy those myself. But doing that for the truther community, wouldn't it be funny to have pictures of James True and Jordan Maxwell and whomever we put on there, and using that as a poll to decide who we think are the best, you know, truth people speaking power, and a way to organize our community? Let me know in the comments. My phone goes, see you later.